Alright, welcome back again to More Than Peaches Gaming. Last time we did some great epic dungeons, and we took a crack at Famebreaker Island with a little bit of success. If you haven't watched that video, you might want to check it out. If it's not up for whatever reason, it's because I haven't gotten around to getting it up. The dungeon was a little bit trickier than I first thought. But today we're actually going to be focusing on a wonderful dungeon. It's Master Cragmire Crypts. Again, this is a dungeon that is full of traps. If you have not checked out the normal version, it plays pretty much just like it, except for that the enemies hit harder, and the boss at the end requires some more strategy rather than brute force. And they added in some extra mechanics. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put us on a private queue for it. I'm going to show you a little bit about the Master Cragmire Crypts according to the description. It requires an item level of 2,000 or more, a tank, a healer, and 3 DPS, or if you private queue, you don't have to meet the group requirements, but you still have to be 2,000 or more item level. In addition to that, it doesn't require anything else other than, a good party. Our party is pretty powerful. That's why I said check out the other video for a lot more strategies. We are probably just going to fly right on through it. I'm still going to open up the shortcuts when I see them. If I miss any, you can point them out and be like, hey, you missed that. I remember you doing that in the normal version. So, we're just going to go through it. Our powerful DPS, the 40/40 Great Weapon Fighter, is probably going to kill almost everything. If you've ever looked at any of my scoreboards with them in it, you'll notice that they're usually at the top. So, without further ado, here we go. Still kind of a creepy statue. I'm just going to point that out. So, we're in here, and we're going to move through this relatively quickly. I'm just going to go ahead and pop a potion of superior force, and then flip my coin, because this is going to be a really fast dungeon. I don't even know if I'm even going to get any hits in because of how fast it's going to be. Oh, I got a hit in. Yes! So again, you got to make sure that you pay attention to where the enemies are positioned. Generally, you want the tank to go up front in this dungeon simply because, well, that's just how it works. But if your DPS wants to be a jackass and take a few hits, they can. Again, these guys hit, like, really hard. If you saw that quick fight against this officer by myself, he was taking out a good chunk of my temp HP. I almost ran out of temp HP. I had to use Divine Call to actually refresh my my bar for that. The cooldown was, again, watch where you step. If you hit a trap, it's probably gonna hurt pretty good. Got enough zombies to kind of keep us busy here. I'm just kind of beating them as fast as I can. So, my allies are taking care of that stuff. I am, on the other hand, going to walk up this way a little bit. Take a look around. Okay, so there is a Hexter that spawns. Hopefully Ophelia realized that. Again, if you have a powerful DPS, they're going to be the ones that can take down most enemies fairly quickly. Not to dismiss the importance of Damia. Again, if you're impressed by anything like this, this is a pretty good group, and I would say you should maybe join our guild if you or a guild in our alliance to be able to quest with us. It is our guild is the RNG Screwed Me, and if you want to be part of the alliance, just Dawn of the Dragon's Bane. One quick note, again, that this is the dungeon of traps, and I really hate it when people are dumb with the traps. I mean, you can see they pretty much hit them all. So since this is the master version, I'm actually going to check this out. Uh, hey, look, a token of worship. So just because you are in a master dungeon doesn't necessarily mean that the treasure is particularly good. Just kind of keep that in mind when you are running it. The only good treasure is usually from boss drops or the chest at the end of the dungeon. Oops. So I didn't actually quite kill that enemy, because I don't really care about them. Again, lots of traps throughout this area, and companions can actually activate those traps, so be especially wary of where they go. Um, so yeah, here we have the spider ambush thing. I'm just gonna keep calling it that. If anybody is actually really wondering when I'm actually recording these, it's been a long overdue thing. I've been recording over the last week, um, with hopes that I'll be able to quickly get through these uh, before I actually decide that I'm going to leave this game, because I want to leave an impact on the players that are still playing, not just those that are, uh, you know, have long forgotten. I guess you could be a little bit nostalgic of how you run the old stuff or the new stuff, you know, because I'm playing everything in between. I know I missed a shortcut, just pointing that out. I just realized it right there, but I'm not too particularly worried about it. Again, if you want to see those shortcuts that I would normally unlock, check out my other Cragmire Crypts video, the one for the normal version, and it shows you how I opened up all of those. The reason why I'm not really going through the process of opening them right now is because this group seems to be moving really fast, and I don't think they would actually wait for me. There isn't very many changes at all, though. Not like Grey Wolf Den, where they switched out a few things. So, alright, so the gate on my left is one of the shortcuts. I'm not going to mess with it because we're moving through this stuff so quickly. You'll notice that we don't have to actually open up any other, like, mandatory gates. Again, that's just like Grey Wolfden. Okay, so I hit a trap, unfortunately. Wonder what kind of trap it was. Poison spike. Oh, I got poisoned for a few seconds. Again, these 5 adventures can be challenging, but at the same time are probably not. Okay, so we gained a lot of stuff in here. Nothing all that special. Looks like somebody dropped a purple piece of gear. An Elemental Alliance Assault Necklace. It's something I've never had before, surprisingly. Usually that never happens. Hey look, something that's actually pretty good. I generally won't stick around and like pick up all this stuff. As you can kind of see, my party just kind of left me just because I picked up an item. So that will happen if you are running with the powerful party. So you have to hit both the switches to get in this area. And then watch out for the trap in the middle. Looks like somebody hit it. How comical. Okay, and then you've open up the portal. Here's something I'm going to do that was not actually done in the normal version. I'm not going to actually go in. They got this under control. They're going to bust down the wall. So, when I said they went full circle, they really do. And it's a good idea to do this because if you divide your party into 2, that means you can get the jump on the archers. That way they can't really hurt you as much. I feel like I'm the only one fighting this guy. Probably am. So, alright. So, they all moved on without me. Go figure. Those jerks. And again, the portal is just right there. They cleared out most of the enemies in this room already. They repositioned some of the treasure chests, as you may have noticed. This one used to be in the middle of the room, but now is over here because it is a mimic. So they replaced the treasure chest with a mimic. Isn't that awesome? And yes, they do drop different stuff, depending on, you know, the one that you're fighting. And they already opened up the bridge. Yay! So, pretty quick group. We're already getting to the boss. So, go ahead and use that. Unfortunately, I got crit. One of the things I don't want. I'd rather have power recovery or defense. I mean, reflex isn't bad. So, what you need to do in this battle is really just kind of get ready to, like, draw him towards the back. A lot of people forget that that's the objective, and what they do is they end up trapping themselves so that the majority of the area that they have available is I'm doing this on purpose so he aims for me. And surprisingly, we did it without the actual mechanic of When there gets to be too much fire, you hit this thing. So I'm going to open up the keg real quick to put out all the fire. So, and then you have to kill all the other minions if they're still here. And then at the end, you get your daily dungeon chest key that you can use. It's just an epic dungeon chest. So I'm going to go ahead and open it and get the same old junk that I usually get. So not much for mechanics or the like. So I'm going to go ahead and exit. That is kind of, you know, a wonderful dungeon in itself. I mean, it is what it is. It is definitely harder. If you are struggling for whatever reason, remember that when you use the keg to open up to put out the fires, the boss will go crazy and will attack everybody. So make sure your defenses are up. You're ready for a large beating. And if you cannot take that beating at that time, you might have to delay what you're doing for a little while. Because that's just the way it works. And it put me back in the Protector's Enclave, which is fine. So there isn't much to go off of that. I'm just going to go ahead and use the cache of the Protector because I don't really need it. So hopefully this tutorial helped you out. And if you like this video, you check out one of my other videos. I highly suggest anything that you're having difficulties with. And hopefully this video was very informative. So, thank you for watching.